Let's take a look at question 1. So remember, even though it's reviewed, it doesn't mean that it's always easy. So when we look at question 1, the first thing that we want to know is do you see anything that makes question 1 easy? I don't really see anything that makes it easy. Now, I see something that tells me what to do, but I don't really see anything. What's up? All right, how we doing? What's the name? Tremaine, gotcha. Okay, so Tremaine, do me a favor. I want you to go over there and grab a calculator. Here's this. Do you need a pencil? All right, grab a pencil real quick. So go back there, and there's a calculators back there. Grab the ones on the left. I don't think the ones on the right are charged. So do you see them? So not that first group, but the second group. Yep, right there. There you go. All right, so, and we just started on question 1, so we just finished talking about the Super Bowl, so you haven't missed anything. If you missed the Super Bowl, you didn't miss anything either, by the way. All right, so on this, if you don't know what to do, then what is a great strategy on this question? If you don't know what to do on this, what's a great strategy? Guess C, right? Guess C. So if we don't know what to do, guessing C is a great strategy here. All right, so let's talk about if you do know what to do. The key word right here is rate. See, I'll see that word right there, rate. That's our key word. Now, rate is rate of change, which is slope. Okay, so if you know slope, then maybe there's some stuff we could do here. Now, there's one part to slope I do think everybody can do. Does everybody remember what the one easy part to slope is? Very good. If I draw slope dude right here, so here's slope dude. Okay, if I draw slope dude, is he going uphill or downhill right here? He's going downhill, so it's negative. So don't forget, we got slope dude right over there, the skateboarder, and he's going downhill. It's negative. We can eliminate G and J because it's negative. All right. So now we actually got to figure out how to do this. And like I said, this part is where if you struggle, then guess between F and H. So we have to find 2 points. Now, in this case, I'm going to use this point and I'm going to use this point down here, even though you could probably find better ones. So this right here will go down from 200 to 0. So it's going to go down 200. And then we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So 200 over 4. Now, even if you don't know what 200 over 4 is, there's no way it's going to be 200, is it? Okay. But let's talk about, we could plug this in our calculator, right? So we can go control divide and type in minus 200 over 4, hit enter, and it would give us negative 50. So the answer here is going to be negative 50. All right, so we don't consider that to be an easy one. All right, so if you can get that question, that's great. All right, if you struggle with it, hopefully you can at least eliminate the positives and negatives, okay? All right, question 2. All right, we do consider this to be easy. Why do we consider this to be easy? All right, this right here, when we have an equation, this is all calculated. And so in our calculator, it's this first pink poster right here. We're going to hit menu 3-1. Can y'all see this, or do we need to turn off the front light? Do we need to turn off the front light? Is it? You can see it? So here's the thing. If we need the front light off, I'm going to have to ask somebody to do it because I'm not walking over there. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just that very front one should take care of it. I am sorry. I know I'm being a big baby today. I appreciate it. All right. So anytime that we have this equal sign, then we can go into our calculator. So right here, go to regular calculator. We're going to hit menu 3-1. So like always, if you will practice this, then this gets really easy when you have to do it, okay? So do it with me. So we're going to calculator, hit menu 3-1, and we're going to type in number 2. So we're going to type in parentheses x minus 3. Ooh, put 2 3s there. Close parentheses plus x minus 3 equals 2x minus 6. All right, so when we finish typing that in, what do we got to finish with? Comma x. So we got to finish with comma x and then hit enter, and we get 0. All right, well, look at your answers. Is there a 0 there?
No.
No. So 0 also means something else. Does anybody remember what 0 also means? It means infinite solution. So if you remember, our calculator is awesome with no solution. So when it's no solution, it'll flat tell you no solution. I don't know if y'all can see this poster over here, but where it says infinite solutions, it says calculator says 0. So when the calculator says 0 and there is no 0, this is infinite. But don't ever put no solution unless the calculator says no solution, because our calculator is awesome at no solution. All right. So number 3, we have another just basic equation, right? So we're going to go plug this into our menu 3.1 again, our end solve. All right, so we're going to go back to calculator. I'm going to go ahead and just start a new one. So click that. And we're going to go menu 3.1. Menu 3.1. All right, and then we're going to type in the equation. So number 3, we're going to type in minus 2x minus 4 is equal to minus 5x plus 2. All right, and then at the end of that, we're going to put our comma x, right? So comma x, hit enter, and I get 2 this time. Is that an option? Yep, that's D. All right. So hopefully those are really easy questions for us right there. Okay. Man. Let me clear this real quick. All right, so now we get to some, or at least one question here that's tough. This is really, really tough here. Okay, so not only, first off, I want you to notice there's no equal sign, is there? Okay. So when we look at this, we have to look and see, like in between the parentheses and these numbers, there's no plus signs. So if there's no plus signs in between the parentheses and these numbers, then I have to do mountaintops. So we're going to have to do mountaintops right here. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of mountaintops here. Now, let's try to make this as easy as we can. So when I look at this, when I look at everything and I look at my answers, do you see in the answers, we have these x squareds right here? Let's start off with, let's see if we can work out the x squared. I only have one x squared right here. And it's 4 over 5 times negative 3. Well, let's throw that in the calculator. So I'm going to go to the calculator. I'm going to do, I said 4 over 5, right? So control divide, 4 over 5. And then times negative 3. All right, so this gives me a negative 12 over 5. Now, the calculator did all that, didn't it? So all I did was this first mountaintop. I got 12 over 5, negative 12 over 5, sorry, x squared. Are there any other x squareds in this problem? No, there's not, is there? So look at your answers. What do you see when we look at our answers? Come in. Marcus. Oh, Marcus. Right back there. You just need to sing for a second? Yeah. So look at your answers. What do you see here? Yeah, there's only one answer that has this right here, right? What answer has that? Jay, is that what you said? Jay, sorry. So J is the only answer that has that right there. So sometimes, you know, if you know how to do these mountaintops, focus in. Remember, a good test taker lets their answers help them. We looked at our answers and we saw that these two had x squared. And we saw an x squared up here, so we just worked this one thing that had x squared, and then it helped us find our answer. Okay? Now, maybe, you know, on an actual test, maybe there's 2 of them. You got to work 2 of them and then add them together. Okay? But in the end, like I said, a good test taker always lets answers help them. But that is a hard question. If you don't know how to do that, and you can't use your answers to help you, then we follow strategy. And what's our strategy? Guess what? Guess C, right? Okay, follow strategy. All right, so let's take a look at number 5. Okay, once again, I don't consider this to be an easy one here. Do we see any words that tell us what to do? Rate of change. So remember, rate of change is slope, right? Rate of change is slope. So we don't have any equations in here. So how do we do slope when we have this? Well, we do have a cheat sheet over here that reminds us how to do it. It's the right below slope, dude. It reminds us how to do this kind of a slope right here. This is where we subtract the y's on top and the x's on the bottom. Now, the hard part to this is everybody's going to want to subtract these two on top, but are these my y's? No, these are my x's right here. So we're not subtracting those two on top. These are my y's. So we're going to subtract these two on top. So you're going to go 550 minus 1,375 over, and then we're going to subtract our x's. So our x's would be 2 minus 5. Now, like I said, this is not easy, okay? If you struggle with this, that's okay. We keep going over it because I know that there's a lot of you kids that can do this, okay? And so we want to make sure that if y'all can do this, that we keep going over it so you don't forget how to do it. All right, so now we just go plug this in. So we'll go control divide. We got 550 minus 1,375 over 2 minus 5. You just plug it in the way it looks, and the calculator will do everything. I got 275. Is that an option? So, yep, J. So in the end, if you don't know this, it is okay. Once again, I know we've had a lot of questions this morning where it's been okay to guess C. Okay, so we've done quite a few tough questions. But that's what makes the easy question so important. When you can get the easy question, we got to be perfect on those easy questions. So you should be able to at least do those equations, right? All right, look at number 6. Now, number 6, we need this to be easy. All right, so take a look at 6. We've got one itty-bitty problem, but we can fix that problem too. What's the one problem? Y is not by itself, but we can fix it. How do we fix it? Very good. So we're going to take this number right here, this +2, and we're going to put it in the back, but we're changing the sign. We're making it a -2 and then mark it off. We're going to take this -3, put it at the back, or the 3, make it a -3, move it to the back. This 3 right here, we're going to move it to the back. And then this 3, we're going to move it to the back. Now we do have y by itself, and we can use the calculator to solve this right here, okay? Because all they're giving us is these 2 points. We're going to check those 2 points, right? All right, this is the one thing that we keep telling y'all. In your calculator, you absolutely need to know how to do this. A lot of y'all have done this a lot, and you're great at it. Some of us don't do it all the time, so you're not great at it. We need to be great at this, okay? It's hard to pass the STAR test if we're not great at this. We just see it in too many types of questions. All right, so we're going to type this in right here, and then we're going to check these 2 points. So grab your calculator. It's y equals, so we're going to graphs right now. We're going to graphs. All right, we don't type in y equals. We type what comes after the equal sign. So A is going to be x plus 3. And then at the back, we still got to put -2. Hit enter. We're going to hit menu 5-1. All right, so this pops up. Oh, that's actually one of our points, isn't it? That's the second point right there. So usually we always say this doesn't mean anything, but today there is a 0 right there. So 0, 1 is actually one of our points. So the other point is -3. So we got to type in -3, hit enter. And does that say -3, -2? There you go. That's our answer right there. So we absolutely need to be awesome at the calculator on this stuff. And like I said, normally today, I would be walking around making sure that y'all were good. And if you did know something, we'd be taking care of it right now. Okay. Unfortunately, oh, somebody say something to me? Oh, okay. So unfortunately, Shavers is not here today. And then I'm hurt. So, we're just not walking around today. So hopefully you're working with us. All right. So let's take a look at 7. 7 is another easy one, even though we have these nasty fractions. What makes this easy? Why do we like this one? What do we see on 7 that we like? All right, let's stop for a second. Remember, good test takers do not focus on what they don't know or don't like, okay? So don't be looking at those fractions, because I know I don't like fractions either. And if you stare at those fractions, you're not going to see what makes this easy. So look and see what makes this easy. What makes this easy? What do y'all see here? 2 equations, right? So we got 2 equations. Anytime we got 2 equations, this is all calculator, isn't it? We're not going to menu 3.1, we're going to menu 3.2. Very good. So let's go to menu 3.2 on this. So we don't want to forget how to do these, because these are easy. So we're going to go menu 3.2. Remember, when this pops up, you just simply hit enter. And then we're going to go type this in. So don't forget, our fraction is control divide. So I'm going to go control divide. And I'm going to put in minus 1/4. Make sure you get out of your fraction before you put the x, equals 1 minus another fraction, control divide, 1/4. And then y. Okay, so it's nasty, but our calculator is going to do the whole thing. So then we got 5x plus y equals -2. All right, so we're going to go and type this in. Is that what y'all got? -1, 3? Is that an option? There we go. -1, 3 right there. C. So super, super easy questions right there. The calculator does everything for you. You just simply have to know where to plug it into the calculator. So we love those questions right there. All right, and then our last one, we cannot plug this into the calculator, but what can we do? Switch this to a what? Anybody remember? Switch this to an equal sign. Okay, now before we do that, do all these have an equal to bar? They do, but look at the graphs. There's a graph that has a mistake. If it has an equal to bar, should the circle be filled in? Yeah, but look at this A right here. See, that has an open circle right there? There's no way it can be A. All right, so now let's go type this in with an equal sign and see if we can figure out the number. All right, we got somebody else popping in today. We got popping.
Mr. Settles,
Yeah, what's up?
why they change my class on 5th period?
They didn't. So there was something wrong with my Canvas, and when they went and fixed it, they put everybody in 2nd period. And so today in all my classes, I'm going to be talking about that. When you go and look, right now we're in 2nd period, so none of them had to worry about it, so I didn't talk about it. But you can still come in 5th. You're still in 5th period, but everybody's class now, everybody in my class, and now says 2nd period. But you're still in 5th period. So nothing's changed, and you can still come and just do it 5th period.
Because I had thought they changed me to 2nd period.
Yeah, that's just whoever fixed my stuff, they just screwed up, and And so that's why it says that. But no, you're still in fifth period.
All right.
All right, we'll talk to you fifth period.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to go type this in real quick. So we're going to hit menu 3-1 because there's only one equation here. And we're typing in -7. Really what it is they knew that everybody wanted to be in second period, right? Because this is the best class, right? By far, right? So, I mean, they knew everybody wanted to be in, so they just switched everybody there to make them feel better so that they wouldn't, because they're jealous of you guys that y'all have second period. So that's the only way they can make people feel better. So are y'all buying? No, nobody's buying that. Okay. All right, so parentheses 6 plus, okay, now notice this says A. It is okay if you want to put X there. I'm going to go ahead and put A, but at the end of this, I'm not going to put comma X, I'm going to put comma A. All right, so I'm going to close my parentheses and put equals -210. And then we're going to do, I'm going to do comma A. It just depends. If you put an X there, you need to do comma X. I put an A, so I'm going to put comma A, and I got 4. What's the answer? The answer is C. So we kind of got lucky that the answer wasn't -2, but hey, sometimes you get lucky like that. All right, so we had some easy questions we want to make sure we don't forget how to do. We have some tough questions, and I know that there's a lot of y'all that can get a lot of these tough questions, which is why we keep going over them. All right, turn your paper over. So the majority of your quiz tomorrow is going to look like this right here, okay? So we want to get through just as many of these as we can. Now, I want to remind you, the addition can be a little bit easier than everything else, but today I am going to give you a little trick on the multiplication. So I want to remind you of these posters up here that might help you a little bit. Okay, use those as cheat sheets. The first thing I always want you to do is look in between the parentheses and identify, are you adding or are you multiplying? So we're obviously adding here, right? Now, look at your answers. All of your answers right here have this x to the 4th, and they all have a -1 in front. If they all say -1 x to the 4th, is there any reason to work out the x to the 4th? No, they're all the same. Do y'all see this? Okay. So if they're all the same, let's not work it out. Let's mark off anything that has x to the 4th power. So I'm going to mark this off and this off. Do you see how the answers just did the work for us? Okay. This is why I say good test takers, let the answers do the work for you as much as you can. All right, now we look at our answers. These all have x's. Oh, there is one that says -3x squared. Then there's one that says 5x squared. Do we have any x squareds in this problem? Right here, that's my only x squared. So that means it can't combine with anything. That means 5x squared has to be in my answer. What's the answer? D. Did we really have to work anything out? No. Okay. It's just a matter of you learning to let those answers help you out. Okay. Let those answers help you out. All right. Number 10. All right. This is minus. Do we minus? No. So when there's a minus sign, you change this to a plus, and then you have to change the sign of everything after, never before, okay? Only after. So right here, this +2, I'm gonna put -2. This +4, I'm gonna put -4. All right, so look at your answers. When I look at my answers, all my answers have x to the 4th. So we're going to start with x to the 4th. All right, so we have 5x to the 4th and a -2x to the 4th. So what is 5 minus 2? 3. So if it doesn't say 3x to the fourth, mark it off. So we can mark off C and we can mark off B. All right, so we've taken care of the x to the fourth. Remember, if you don't know 5 minus 2, throw it in your calculator without the x's, just 5 minus 2. So when you're adding and subtracting, all you're doing is adding and subtracting the big numbers. All right, so now both of my answers have this x to the third. So we've got this x to the third. And remember, if there's not a number there, there's understood to be a -1. So a -1x to the third and a -4x to the third. So let's throw this in our calculator. -1 minus 4, maybe throw it in the calculator. So remember, this is the one time we hit the button of the devil. So -1 minus 4, hit enter. And we got -5. Was there a -5 there? Yep, A. Like I said, I think addition and subtraction, like I said, you're just adding and subtracting the big numbers. I think this is something we could be good at. All right. So first off, first thing I see is this right here. It says minus. Are we allowed to minus right here? No. So what do? Change this to a plus and change the sign of everything after. So the 5 becomes a negative. The 6 becomes a negative. And the 14 becomes a negative. Now, be very careful right here. When we look at our answers, they all have a to the fourth. So make sure you look for the a to the fourth. So I see a -14a to the fourth and a -5a to the fourth. Notice they're not in the same spot though. A lot of times that we do these, like both of them will be up front or something like that. These are in different spots. So make sure you're looking for a to the fourth. All right, we have -14 minus 5. So I'm going to go to the calculator, -14 minus 5. So -14 minus 5. And we get -19. So what answers can we mark up? If we got -19, A and B don't have that -19 a to the fourth. So I'm going to mark off these a to the fourth real quick. Clean it up. All right, now look at your answers. Now notice my eyes are constantly on my answers. Both of these say -19a. Is there any point to working out -19a? No, they're both, we know it, the a's are going to come out to -19. So let's mark off our a's. Make this as easy as possible. All right, so now the numbers that are numbers only, we've got -5 minus 6. And so -5 minus 6, and -5 minus 6 will give us -11, and the answer would be C. All right, now, maybe you're sitting there going, Coach, I know you said adding and subtracting was a little bit easier, but I'm just not getting it. Okay, that's all right. Okay, you know, maybe if you can get one of them, that would be awesome, because usually you can eliminate 2 things. Okay, but in the end, if you don't know it, you don't know it, and you may have to guess C on some of these. Okay, try to use that poster to help you, the far one. Okay, so if you don't know adding and subtracting, then maybe multiplying will be a little bit easier. Okay, so when we're multiplying, the rule is you multiply the big numbers and you add the smalls. So maybe that might be because we practiced that in Unit 5. Maybe that's a little bit easier. So there is no addition or subtraction in between these right here. Okay, so no addition or subtraction, so we're multiplying. So we're going to do our mountaintops here. Maybe. Okay, we're going to do our mountaintops. So the rule is we multiply the big numbers, add the small. So what are my 2 big numbers here? 4 and 3. So what's 4 times 3? 12. So if this is 12, look at your answers. If that front number doesn't have a 12, let's mark it off. Then we're going to add the small numbers. So I got x to the 1 and x to the 2. So 1 plus 2 gives me 3. Do both of these have x to the third? Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at this one. All you got to do is take care of the big number. Matter of fact, what if you would have gone through and only done the big numbers? Would you have still gotten the answer? Yeah, that's not a bad idea right there. To just go through 4 times 3 is 12, or both of these say 12. 4 times -2, what's 4 times -2? -8, which of these has -8? A. So maybe just going through and multiplying the big numbers. That might be all you need to do to get your answer right there. Okay, find anything you can to make this easy. So I'm going to show you a trick on this. Now, I am not saying that this trick works 100% of the time. Usually it'll eliminate 2. Every once in a while, we'll go to an answer. So the first one we just did was like this top problem. So number 11 was like this top problem. Number 12 is going to be like this bottom problem. Now, y'all see all those mountaintops we got there? So I'm going to give you a little trick. Anytime that you have a lot of mountaintops, you got to do. All right. The trick is if you will multiply the first one in each set of parentheses. So -3n times n. So you do the first one in each set of parentheses. All right. The rule is multiply the bigs. So in the bigs, I've only got 3 and add the small. So I got n to the 1 and n to the 1. So I get 3n squared. Do all these say 3n squared right here? Yeah. So anytime that you multiply the first 2 in each set of parentheses, it should give you that first number right here. Obviously, it didn't help us eliminate anything though. All right, so here's the next trick. If you multiply the last 2 in each set of parentheses, the last 2, it gives you the last number. What is -3 times -2? 2 negatives make a positive. So it's going to be a +6. It cannot be A because that has a -6 right there. It cannot be D because that has a -6 right there. So just by multiplying the first 2 and the last 2, I've now eliminated it down to these 2 right here. Okay? So that's the trick I'm going to recommend. Multiply the first 2 in each set of parentheses, multiply the last 2. So how do I figure out what's left? So if you look at this, there were 2 mountaintops on top. Well, I've got one more mountaintop here that I need to do. So we're going to go 3n times -2, and that would give us a -6n. Then we have to go from -3 to the we already did that one. We got to go from -3 to the n. So when you have a number and a letter, you just squish them together, -3n. All right, these 2 right here will combine to make my number in the middle. -6 minus 3 would give us -9n. Which of these has a -9n? Let's see. So once again, I'm not saying that this stuff is easy, but I would pick either addition and subtraction, and I would focus in on adding the big numbers or subtracting the big numbers, or I would focus in on multiplying, where you multiply the bigs and add the smalls. So focus in on one of those and be really good at one of those tomorrow, okay? And then, like I said, maybe some little tricks here and there might help you. All right. Yep, this little trick that I just showed you will give away the answer on this right here. Will flat give away the answer. Guys, there are a lot of mountaintops that you could do on this one right here. This problem, if you work the whole thing out, would be huge. And look at your answers. Your answers are all huge too, aren't they? Okay, so here's our trick. Multiply the first one in each set of parentheses. So right here, 5 times 4 gives me what? 20. And right away, the first one has to be the first one right here. You already know the answer, because this was 20 right here. But then you could add up the k's. 1k plus 2k's makes 3k's. This is the only one that has 20 right there. Now, what else could have given it away? If you did the last 2. 3 times -5 right here, the last two in each set of parentheses, will give us -15, and B is the only one that has -15 right there. So the first two should always be the first number, the last two should always be the last number. Really easy way to kind of get that right there. All right, 15. This is saying area. Area is length times width. The only thing I care about that is knowing that this is times right here. So now that I know this is times, length times width means we're going to multiply these two together. So 2x plus 9. Oh, don't do that. I think I only ended up probably getting 2 hours of sleep last night. If you start yawning, I'm going to start yawning. I'm going to fall asleep right here, man. I'm so tired today. Oh, that's terrible. Now, I tried to go to bed at around 11, and I just tossed and turned and tossed and turned. About 2 o'clock, I got up and I rewrapped my foot, and to see if that would help. I tried to put pillows up and put my foot up so that it was up high so that maybe the blood would rush down and it would quit throbbing. Man, nothing helped. I tossed and turned all night long. Just, ugh. So I know I got some sleep in there, but it wasn't much. All right, so, come on, you got to do it too. All right, so, I'm trying to stay awake myself. All right. So the easiest thing to do is to do the first and the last. Now, unfortunately, the first and the last isn't going to help here. So I do the first. This gives me a 2 because there's only a 2 in this right here. And then 1 plus 1 would be 2x squared. All of these say 2x squared, don't they? Then when I look at the back number, do you see how they all say -18? Well, that's the last one, is that -18 right there. So unfortunately, that little trick doesn't work on this one. So to figure it out, I've got to get the last mountaintop on this one. So the last mountaintop on the top would go from the first to the last right there. So 2x times -2. So -2 times 2 would give me a -4x. Killing me. All right. And then right here, the other mountaintop. So we've already done the last two. So we're going to go from here to here. So that would give me a positive 9x. So what is -4 plus 9? So I would use the calculator on this. -4 plus 9. So -4 plus 9. I would get a positive 5. Which did he say? Positive 5x? B. So in the end, I have to, you may have to do all 4 of these mountaintops. All 4 of those mountaintops are on the notes right there. So it tells you right here, you're supposed to do those 4 mountaintops. Mountaintops mean to multiply. Okay. And then a lot of times the first and the last will work, but it didn't on that. 14, mark off. We're not doing 14. All right, so this one right here says area. So remember, basic area is length times width. All we care about there is the times. So we're going to take the 2 things in this problem right here and multiply them together. So 3x minus 2 and 4x plus 3. All right, so what are the first 2 ones I would do? I would multiply the first 2 in each set of parentheses. 3 times 3 is 12. And 1x plus 1x would be x squared. Look at your answers. If it doesn't have a 12x squared, y'all got to get in, huh? All right, so if it doesn't have this 12x squared, we can mark it off. Now, do you see how this last number here is different? All we got to do is multiply the last one in each set of parentheses. So -2 times 3 would be -6. And -6 would be F.